Welcome to part 13 of Ask 45, where I will be going through my Discord Q&A section with Mark chat channel, and I'll be answering questions that you guys want to know. So if you guys haven't already, join my Discord. There's about 700 active members there that talk about tennis, pop culture, and tennis-related news. So without further ado, let's get started. Muscle Man is asking if I have a pet. Muscle Man thinks I have a cat, but not sure. Unfortunately, I do not have a cat or a dog. I recently found out I was actually very allergic to cats, which is weird because I grew up with 2 cats and a dog. Unfortunately, all 3 of them were put down because of their old age. But I always have a soft spot for both cats and dogs. I would say I like dogs just a little bit more than cats. But if it wasn't for my allergies, I definitely would have one of each right now. So maybe in the long-term future, when I have a house with a big backyard, I'll get 2 dogs and a cat. Specifically, 1 golden retriever, 1 German shepherd, and 1 very fluffy Maine Coon. Thanks, Muscle Man. Rishit Dasgupta is asking, is playing with a power racket like a Pure Aero, Drive, or E-Zone, or V-Core, as a tennis player, is it bad for your growth? I would argue no, but when I'm teaching someone that's physically developed and they are picking up the sport of tennis and they're physically strong enough, I try to have them stay away from power rackets because I don't want anybody, including my students, to be relying on the racket to supply the power. Learn how to swing with your body, learn how to swing with proper technique, and the racket should complement your playing style. It shouldn't be what's surrounding and the center of your playing style, but it should definitely be complementing for it. So if you guys want heavy, massive topspin, try something with either 98 or 100 square inches with a very open string pattern. If you're more of a flat hitter and a finesse player, go for a more flexible racket with not so much power. So you really got to play with it. Just don't rely on your equipment, specifically your tennis strings and tennis rackets, too much to build your play style around. But in my opinion, the best way to do it is just to play as much tennis as possible, both competitively and recreationally, and get some good coaching out there and watch a lot of the resources like Essential Tennis, My Tennis HQ, and Tennis Spin, because they put out high quality content videos for you guys to consume. And the best part is it's absolutely free. So hopefully, Rashid, that answers your questions. Thank you. Royal's asking, not sure if you'd have the answer to this, but wanted to ask anyway. Have you played with any portable tennis ball machines or have any that I recommend? Upon some research online, good, you're doing research, there seems to be a lot of bias/paid reviews, unfortunately those exist, out there that seem to try to sell the machine and not really talk about the machines objectively. Well, glad you're in the right channel because, obviously I try to be as unbiased as possible when it comes to tennis equipment reviews, specifically tennis strings and tennis rackets. And yeah, it does seem that from the small research I've done, a lot of it is basically marketing and advertising. It's not necessarily, objective reviews. So luckily for me, I do have a friend that has a slinger bag machine, and I have a different friend that has a lobster machine, and both of them are portable. So hopefully in the summer, if it's not raining outside, if I have some free time, and if they allow me to borrow it, I could get some footage and do some play tests for you guys to have the best objective review possible for these 2 tennis machines that are portable that you have been asking Royal. So hopefully that's a video in the near future, but stay tuned. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the video for that review, hopefully. Tag is asking, can you please dispel the theory of restringing as often as you play a year theory? So what Tag is referring to is, apparently the rule of thumb is if you play twice a week, you should theoretically restring your racket twice a year. If you play 4 times a week, you restring your racket 4 times a year. I believe that's true for non-competitive tennis players. I would say that's true if you're playing once a week or twice a week. However, if you're starting to get into the amateur scene and the recreational kind of like competitive scene, or even higher, you should be restringing your rackets a lot more, in my opinion. So it's not necessarily like a straight graph. It should be more of an exponential curve. Like the more you're playing tennis per week, depending on how often you're hitting and how intensely you're hitting, the more you should be restringing your rackets. I personally string my rackets only after the string actually breaks. But if you're a competitive junior tennis player, or especially if you're a college player, and if you have big tournaments and big matches coming up, I would actually string all of your rackets again, just to make sure that in case, you know, there's a tension drop that you're not expecting, or if you mishit it and the grommet breaks a string prematurely, that you're still good to go. So Tag, thank you for that. That is a tough question, but in all honesty, unfortunately, it depends on the player. But my recommendation is, the more you play tennis, the more you should really consider stringing your rackets, more than that rule of thumb of play X amount of times per week, string it X amount of times per year. Thank you. Muscle Man is asking this question that I will blank out. It's a meme referencing one. Dude, it's Instagram. It's a joke. For B. Santuro, can I rate Stefanos' latest track out of 10? Let's give it a listen. Actually, not bad. If that really is Stefanos Tsitsipas, he's got some pretty good talent, or a lot of spare time. So out of 10, I will give that track a 6.9 out of 10. Nice. That's it for today's Q&A, and I hope that I answered some of your guys' questions. Again, if there's a question that I didn't answer that you're dying for me to present to this video, swing by my Discord in the Q&A section with Mark text channel. So this video could not have been possible without my YouTube members. So if you guys can afford $2.99 per month to publicly support this channel for unbiased equipment reviews for strings, rackets, shoes, and other original tennis content, please consider hitting that join button for $2.99 per month if you guys could afford it. And as always, happy hitting.